Hello and good afternoon to all the viewers who are watching me live on our Facebook page. My name is Sheenam Gambhir and I am a senior certified IELTS trainer at Right Directions. Right Directions is an overseas leading consultancy that offers various services to its clients like training, visa filing, etc. with 100% satisfaction. Right Direction is one of the oldest, largest, and the most successful immigration company which was founded and established by Mr. Vinay Mittal back in 2006. We are known for our work ethics and transparent system. So now let's move to the part for which we have gathered today. That is IELTS speaking session. Yes, we have done a lot of sessions on IELTS speaking before, but they were mainly focused on mock interviews for you to understand the structure of the IELTS test. So how today's session is going to be different from the previous sessions? In today's session, I'm going to tell you how to introduce yourself in the IELTS speaking, including how to give your name and how to talk about your hometown, work or studies. And of course, we will be looking at a lot of language structure and some key elements to make sure this test is a success for you. So as you know that this test happens between two people in a room. So one is an examiner, the other one is an aspirant. So what happens generally is the examiner is the one who can question you. You are not asking any question from the examiner. So you need to keep this thing in mind. It is also obvious that the examiner may sometimes make notes with the help of a pen, but you have nothing to do with it. It could be anything that they're writing. Just don't pay attention and focus and just stay positive. So whenever the examiner asks you about your name, like if they trigger a question that what is your name, your answer should be very simple and accurate. My name's, like if it is about me, then I would say my name's Sheenam Gambhir. And the next question with it could be, what can I call you? Just keep it very simple by saying, just call me Sheenam, or you may call me Sheenam, or please call me Sheenam. So this is the way you keep it simple and short for each answer. Always remember that whenever a question is asked to you, you need to give your answer in 2 to 3 sentences, not more than that. Now, what basically happens in your IELTS speaking test? It is a test which is common for both academic and general training students. The test lasts for 11 to 14 minutes. This test comprises of your ID check and greeting. The greeting, as I told you before, and ID check, they may ask you for your identification card or your passport. So you need to present it there and then. Then comes your part 1 questions, which are your general questions, which may last for 4 to 5 minutes. Then your part 2, which is a cue card. Then part 3, which is a discussion-based question round for 4 to 5 minutes. The marking criteria of your IELTS speaking depends on 4 parameters. First is fluency and cohesion. Now, what is fluency and cohesion? Fluency means you need to speak smoothly or easily. That is, you don't have to put that ums and is in between. You need to speak smoothly on the topic that is given to you. Your length of answer should be good. It shouldn't be looking like that you are just saying 1 or 2 words for a particular answer. Then comes your vocabulary. Vocabulary is nothing but the way we use different words, the range of words that we know. Instead of using repetitive words, use different words every time. Like for hot, you can use boiling, scorching, sweltering, etc. Yes, there are times that students tend to make mistakes, but unless until you know about the synonyms of a word, do not use them. Then comes your grammar. Well, in grammar, they are just checking about your tenses, sentence structure, so don't make mistakes there. Last is your pronunciation. The word that you are saying, try to listen the pronunciation of the words online. There are some times that we do not know the correct pronunciation of the word and we tend to use them in our session. So make sure that you are well aware of how to pronounce that particular word before you use it. Other important element of your IELTS speaking is intonation. That is, your voice should be going up and down. It shouldn't sound flat because that doesn't give a good band. If you are aiming for band 7 or more, you need to keep these things in mind. Now, what you should do, like there are times when you are asked about a particular topic and you know it quite well or you have practiced it before, so make sure it doesn't look like that you are giving a memorized answer. Keep yourself calm for the situations that you know or for the type of questions that you already know. Make sure that you are using natural English. It shouldn't look like that you have mug up or crammed the answers before. Also, let the examiner decide when to move to the next question. Keep talking until he or she asks you the next question. Yes, a lot of students comes to us and asks us that if they can ask the examiner to change the topic. Well, you cannot do so. Also, you have to keep in mind whenever you are asked about a question, you need to answer it in 1 to 2 sentences. Like if you're asked, do you like swimming? Rather than just saying yes or no, you should exaggerate the answer like, yes, I do. I swim mostly at weekends because I do not have much time during the week due to my work commitments. So this is how you answer any question that is asked to you. Again, there it is right to give a negative answer as well. You are not marked on your ideas. You are marked on the way you are speaking for a particular question. So if you're asked about how often do you go to the cinema, it is okay to say that I usually don't get time or I rarely have time to go to the cinema. I think it was the last year I went to cinema with my friends. So they are not judging you. You can be natural, you can say yes or no for a particular answer, but try to increase the length of your answer in 1 to 2 lines. So sometimes, yes, this is quite a common question. Like they ask you about your work or study. The question comes like, do you work or do you study? So just be honest and direct here. Like if you are working, then say I work, or if you are studying, then say I study. So the possible answer could be I work, or I study, or I'm a housewife, or I don't work or study at the moment. See, you need to be honest here. The examiner will then ask you about your work or studies, or the examiner will change the topic if you do neither. Next comes the various elements that can help you to score high in the speaking test. See, a lot of students come and ask us, ma'am, that we have got an idea of what sort of answers we should develop, but how to make them more impressive to make our speaking effective and to score high in our speaking test. So definitely for that, use connectors to improve fluency. Then you can also use some complex grammar structures. Use idiomatic expressions. Also, you can make use of synonyms and antonyms. And now also you can add adverbs to it. Now, I will describe you how these things work in your IELTS speaking test. So, starting with connectors to improve your fluency. So connectors are generally it gives structure to your answer and it makes it easier for the examiner to follow you. So like you have seen, if in case you want to present an idea or opinion, so rather than just simply starting with your answer, you can add certain words like in my opinion or in my view, to my mind, I would say, or as far as I am concerned. When you use such words, it improves your speech. It gives effectiveness to your speech. Also, there are times when you need to add ideas to your answers. So there you can use in addition to, also, to add to, what's more, on top of that. In order to show contrast, we can use but, however, in contrast, and besides. So this is just a few examples that how we can use connectors for particularly adding ideas to your answer. Now let us look at an example. Like if you're asked a question, do you think it is important for friends to laugh together? Well, you should first understand the question. क्या आपको लगता है कि ये important है आपके friends के साथ आपको हंसना? So, with the help of connector, to my mind, it is important because it helps to chill out. I haven't been going out with my friends much lately, but when we go out together, we love to crack a few jokes. On top of that, I think laughing is a great way to stay healthy and positive. Now, as you can see in this particular example, we have used various connectors to make it more emphatic and more impressive. Like in the starting, I used to my mind, which is giving a meaning to the sentence that what I think about this particular thing. To my mind, it is important because it helps to chill out. Because it helps to chill out, like it helps to relax. I haven't been going out with my friends much lately. मैं अपने दोस्तों के साथ बहुत ज़्यादा बाहर अभी नहीं गया हूँ. But लेकिन यहाँ पर हमने contrast use किया है. When we go out together, we love to crack a few jokes. जब हम साथ में जाते हैं तो हमें आपस में कुछ jokes crack करना अच्छा लगता है. On top of that, इस सबसे भी ज़्यादा ऊपर, I think laughing is a great way to stay healthy and positive. So this is how you answer any particular question that is asked to you. I hope use of connectors is clear to you all. Now, moving on to the second element, that is using complex grammar. As I told you that grammar adds to your a parameter that is being taken into account when you are taking your IELTS test. So grammar is something which is important. You need to have a good level of accuracy in your grammar to achieve a band 7 or more. So using some complex sentences can help you yield good bands. So whenever you are talking about your everyday life, you should use present perfect continuous tense. Like when an examiner asks you, where do you live? You can mention that place, and along with it, you can also say, I have been living here for 5 years, 10 years, or a number of years that you have been living there. So if asked, where do you live? Instead of saying, I live in Karnal, practice saying, I live in Karnal and I have been living here for 10 years. So let's see this in action in a model answer. Do you think history is important? Well, a lot of students don't like history, but let us see to the answer that I have. On the one hand, it is important because I think it shapes our identity. But on the other hand, I have been reading a couple of history books recently, and it strikes me that history has the habit of repeating itself. That is, it seems we never learn. So it was just asked to you that if you think that history is important, you could have answered it with the help of yes or no. But to make our answer impressive, we started with analyzing both the parameters of yes and no. Like on one hand, you said that it is important because it shapes our identity. But on the other hand, I have been reading a couple of history books recently. That is, that you have been reading a lot of books which are related to history, and you've always seen that history has the habit of repeating itself. It seems we never learn. Alright, so I have been reading here is a present perfect continuous tense which is helping you to shape your answer and to give a complex structure of grammar in between your answer. So this is how you use complex grammar structure in your answer. Now moving on to the next thing, that is idiomatic expressions. A lot of students sometimes use idiomatic expressions in their answer, but uh, I give you the perfect solution to it, that you need to use some less common and idiomatic vocabulary here in order to describe your answer. Like instead of saying I chill out, instead of saying I relax with my friends, you can say I chill out with my friends. So there are more ways that you can answer your question rather than just simply using the words which are common in English. Like let's move to the model answer. Does your hometown have any beautiful scenery? For this, you are like, if you are sure about it, then you can say indeed it does. As a matter of fact, recently I have been visiting some of the mountains near my hometown and they are second to none. Now, second to none here means that they are the best. I mean, they pull in a huge number of tourists, and you can see why, because the views are breathtaking. Breathtaking, that is something which is really beautiful, that takes your breath away. So, as you see, the answer has a lot of words which have a different meaning. So, instead of using those simple words, the best or to attract, we have used certain idiomatic expressions to make our answer more impressive. So the answer for this question is indeed it does. As a matter of fact, recently I have been visiting some of the mountains near my hometown and they are second to none. That is, they are the best. If you compare it with any other thing, they are simply the best. So they help to pull in a huge number of tourists, and that is the reason a lot of tourists visit this place. So you can use such words in your answer to make your answer more impressive and more emphatic. Now coming to the next thing, which is use of synonyms and antonyms. Now synonyms are the words which have similar meaning and antonyms are the words which have opposite meaning to the words that you use. So one of the easiest ways to show the examiner that you have a wide range of vocabulary is to use synonyms and antonyms. Also, it helps you to speak more naturally. It looks like you have a wide range of vocabulary with you. So for the phrases like I like or it's very good, you can always use synonyms like I'm really into it, I'm on for it, it's out of the world, and many more. So if you are asked a question, do you like to go to the zoo? So to tell the truth, I am not really into zoos. I have actually been thinking about this a lot recently, and I get that zoos can be educational, but I don't think it's fair to keep wild animals cooped up in small cages. They should be out in the wild. So here you have totally made them understand that you are not a person who like going to the zoo. But also along with it, you have given information that you understand that that zoos can be educational at some times, but it's not fair to keep the wild animals in small cages because they also have the right to be set out in the world, out in the world, out in the wild, out in the forests, etc. So you can use such type of answers to describe the questions that are asked to you. So making use of synonyms and antonyms can also help you to get good answers. Now, for the last thing, that is adding adverbs. Now, adverbs are seriously underused by students. And this is actually a good way of showing off your vocabulary and to emphasize on certain answers. Like it helps you to sound really natural. Instead of saying, I go there, I really like going there. If you use such kind of words in your sentences, then it adds an emphasis to your answer. Using words like absolutely, totally, completely, extremely, somewhat, rather, fairly, or rarely, hardly ever, once in a blue moon gives a meaning to your answer, gives an emphasis to your answer. Like if I am a person who's taking your test, then if I ask you a question, do you like to go out to the cinema? So you can say, I rarely like going there because I'm a person who's not into watching movies quite a lot. So this adds an emphasis to your answer. This helps to make the other person understand that you really don't like going there. So this is how you can add adverbs to your answer to make them more impressive. Now, looking at an example, have you ever been to an art gallery? Now, you can be honest with this answer. I know a lot of people don't like going to art galleries, but there are a few who actually love going there. So you can, for the simple answer I have, to be honest, I have been visiting quite a few art galleries recently because my friend or my girlfriend is a bit of an art buff. We went to a modern art exhibition on last week and I was completely bowled over by the paintings. They were totally out of this world. So see, I have been visiting quite a few art galleries. That is, कि यहाँ पर हमने एक कॉम्प्लेक्स ग्रामर का स्ट्रक्चर भी यूज किया है. I have been visiting quite a few, यानी कि बहुत कम art galleries recently, अभी, because my girlfriend is a bit of an art buff because she kind of likes art a lot. We went to modern art exhibition on last week. हम last week एक modern art exhibition में गए थे and I was completely bowled over by the paintings and I was blown away by the paintings that were there. They were totally out of the world. That means those paintings were really beautiful. So as you see, we have discussed the ways that you can improve your answers. I know a lot of you know how to answer a question, but the kind of things that we have discussed today in our live session, I hope that they will be useful for you, but you need to practice them regularly in order to get 7 or more bands in your IELTS speaking. So just again, brushing up with what we have learned today, we've learned how to add synonyms and antonyms, how to add adverbs, how to add complex grammar structures, then your idiomatic expressions. And the first thing that we learned was how to look at the answer, how to improve the answers. So these are the ways that you can actually work on your speaking skills. And that's all for the session today. We will be coming forward with more interesting IELTS speaking session in the near future. So stay tuned for it. In case you have any query for anything that I have told you today, you can call us on our helpline number that is available to you on your screens, or you can also email us or visit our nearest branch. So that's all for the live session today. Thank you for watching and being with us.